Hey, what's up, lightboltjoe here. Today we are going to discuss the 2005 horror film Hellraiser Hellworld. This is the 8th film. This is very much like 5, 6, 7, where the script originally had nothing to do with Hellraiser. They just integrated it into the Hellraiser universe. This alone as a horror film is really good. It has a really great explanation at the end. It has a really great twist. Hellraiser's world, the Lamashant configuration, the box, is used as a lore, like Hellworld is a video game. So Pinhead's in the modern world, right? So but again, it was just tweaked to put into the Hellraiser script. The only reason this was created is because 2005 had Hellraiser Deader and Hellraiser Hellworld. The studio was contractually obligated to do more filming in Romania, so that's why they filmed back-to-back, same director, back-to-back. He actually did 6, 7, 8, directing-wise. So, a lot of people forget that Henry Cavill was a kid actor back in the day. Like, the first thing I ever saw him in was Count of Monte Cristo. I think he was like 15 years old in that. And he is this character, Mike, in this film, who dies, because it's a horror film. Majority of them die. And he's like 22 in this. So, a lot of people only knew him as Clark Kent, Superman, from Man of Steel and on. But, like, he's been an actor for many years. He's like I think he was born in '83 or something like that. So it's just funny watching earlier projects of actors that you just forget that are in certain projects. I saw this years ago, and I remember it's the video game Hellraiser. That's what I always put it in my mind as. But again, Pinhead and Cenobites don't really become like a real thing until like the very end, when like the host, who turns out to be Adam's dad the whole time. Very cool explanation of that. Opens the box, opens the merchant box, opens the Lamashant box, and then, you know, Cenobites do their will with him. So there's this group of kids. They start out at a funeral of their friend Adam. He winds up killing himself because of this Hellworld game, that, like, messes with your psyche and stuff. And, like, you know, they're all upset that their friend died, and then some of them are blaming themselves, some of them aren't. Whatever. So they all get invited to this Hellworld event, and they go to this house, which is like this giant mansion in like upstate New York, and it's a merchant family house that is now owned by this individual named the host, who turns out to be Adam's father. Adam's the kid who wound up killing himself. And so they're all starting to experience Hellworld objectives. So it's kind of like Saw, where they're all in certain circumstances. Can they get out? Can they not get out? But, like, it's not like Saw, because they're, like, entrapped. But then, like, future Saw it's just entrapment because of who's Jigsaw at the present time, not who's the original Jigsaw. So they're all facing their fears and stuff, realizing that eventually main character Jake and Chelsea realize it's not real. How do they fight, you know, this dreamscape versus real world? What is real? What's not real? So they were all dosed with this kind of chemical from Adam's dad, seeking revenge for them killing his son, even though they didn't technically kill him. They all just played video game, and he wound up dying. Very interesting on the revenge motive. So then they're all buried alive with, like, a PVC pipe as their air source, but then, like, who is dying from what? So, like, Mike dies from actual fear. Other kid dies from asthma. The other girl dies from, she winds up clawing herself, bleeding to death. And then, like, Jake and Chelsea are the final two. Chelsea thinks that Jake is dead, but then, like, somehow a phone call is made, because they all have cell phones, and they're all talking on their cell phones in this trippy, drug-induced thing, being guided by, Adam's dad, the host. And then somehow there's a cell phone call made, where the police, then the New York State Police Department, then found the bodies, you know, the 3 dead bodies, but then the 2 live bodies. It's a matter of who called, and you see Adam's ghost in the window, and he disappears. It gives me chills. It's a really good horror film, but again, it has really nothing to do with Hellraiser. Just, like, as a backdrop, as a video game backdrop. Yeah, Pinhead's here and there, but, like, as a character, not the actual Pinhead until the very end, when Doug Bradley is talking to the host, who then does open a Lamashant configuration, a merchant toy box, to bring out the Cenobites, to bring out the Hell. So, it's much better if we're comparing 5, 6, 7, and 8, 8 is the prime compared to the other 4, which again have nothing to do. I only thought it was 5, 6, and 7, which were spec scripts, which were then translated into Hellraiser. But it's 5, 6, 7, 8, which were spec scripts that were translated into Hellraiser. 4 is still my favorite in regards to the first 4 films, next 4 films, because now we've done 8. So first 4 is still my favorite. Bloodline, getting that explanation of Merchant, the Merchant toy maker, stuff like that. 8 is really good because it keeps you on your toes. You keep guessing. You're like, all right, but like, is this real? Is it a game? Is it not real? What's going on? I really like that. I like that the house that was filmed in, very, very neat, spooky, really nice, like haunting, but like in a mind trippy kind of thing. Different, very different than past, like that Chicago cop Trevor in the 5th film. He was stuck in his mind in hell, and Trevor Kirsty's husband, you know, dealing with his own version of hell things, right? But it's not that kind of hell, because that's an actual Hellraiser-ish. This is more video game-ish, experience a game in real life kind of a thing. Going to the Clue Mansion, very much like the original Clue films. Very well done compared to the other ones. Compared to 5, 6, 7, and 8. So 4 and 8, those are my top favorites as of right now, just because of how it keeps you on your toes, it keeps you guessing, and it's exciting. And Henry does a great job. He does a great job as a character, Mike. Wonderful, wonderful earlier horror days. On to the 9th. Can't remember the name of it. I'm sure my memory will come back into effect, and I'm sure I'll read up on some more fun facts for us to discuss. On to the next review. Mucho mahalo.